This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
I've been sounding the alarm about Tucker Carlson and his rhetoric for a long time. I don't believe the two things can be separated, the man from the man's words. So much so that I had T-shirts made when I invited him to have a charity boxing match that he never responded to. I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of videos about Tucker Carlson being a white nationalist, a white supremacist, a vile, sinister character who props up authoritarians, not only like Donald Trump, but also Viktor Orban in Hungary. I mean, just the worst of the worst political instincts. And he appeals to the worst political instincts among our citizenry. Reactionaries, populism of this gross, disinterested in human thriving that they are so fond of. Last night, Tucker Carlson poked up his stupid little head in the form of a Twitter video that has gotten like nearly 20 million views, far more views than he would see in a week on his Fox News show. I don't know the exact numbers, but that sounds about right. And I want to play it, and we're going to talk about it. But I want to warn everybody, not like there's a ton of Tucker fans in my audience, but I want to warn everybody, including those who come to troll, those who maybe just stumbled on the channel, that just because someone looks respectable, wears a tie and a shirt, and speaks with a mild-mannered prep school voice, doesn't mean what they're saying is milquetoast. It doesn't mean that their words aren't vile and sinister and hateful and calling for the dehumanization of vast swaths of our population. Because that has been what Tucker Carlson has done for years. He literally said, quote, "Immigrants make our country poorer and dirtier." He is a white supremacist. Just because you slap a tie on him and he speaks in mild-mannered tones doesn't mean he's not dangerous. Anyway, watch this and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first
Actually, I forgot. I watched this last night. I haven't seen it since then. It is a remarkable thing what a professional studio setup can do for a person, because Fox News is no longer in control of the camera. Now it's just little Tucker. That's the angle. That's the shot. Fantastic. We'll make it a little better for him. Here we go.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
All right, let's address these point by point. I mean, not everything, but just kind of general here. He's talking about nice people, hilarious people, all these supportive people who have come out of the woodwork to vow to champion the cause of Tucker Carlson and his rhetoric and his message and his firing. Megyn Kelly's out there crying that he's the decent person, he's the truthful person, and Fox News is the devil. Two things can be true at the same time. As I said yesterday, it's the battle of the assholes with these people. But it is remarkable and glaring to hear Tucker Carlson say that there are unbelievably stupid debates being had on TV. This is the man who cried for multiple episodes about what cartoon M&Ms were wearing in advertising. He was very depressed that he wasn't turned on by the female M&M anymore. This, the unbelievably stupid debates critic here, is the one who platformed people who tanned their balls and acted like it was a medical miracle because of testosterone levels and low birth rates. And then he went on and he talked about civil liberties and war and big tech and emerging science, and then snuck it in there, demographic change. You see, among white supremacist circles, back in the 90s leading up to today, demographic change and white genocide and the great replacement theory has been talked about. Now it's very popular because of Tucker Carlson, because of his white supremacy power hour on a nightly basis on Fox News. But this used to be things that were whispered about at neo-Nazi meetings, and now it's just mainstream. But he got it in there. Demographic change. Because when he talks about demographic change, he means immigrants make our country poorer and dirtier. And do you think that he's referring to immigrants from Sweden or Norway? No. He's talking about black and brown people making America poorer and dirtier. He is a vile garbage human. I mean, I make fun of him and call him a googly-eyed feather duster, and that's all well and good, but he is a dangerous, sinister character in American history. And listen, I have no idea where he's going to end up, where he's going to land, what he's going to do. I hope that he goes the way of Bill O'Reilly and just fades into the darkness. But who knows? He does have a Svengali-like hold over the worst parts of America. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those things? It's been a long time, he said. That we don't talk about emerging tech in this country. We don't talk about war. Like, there's no debate about these topics. It's self-aggrandizement is what this is. I, on my show, was brave enough to talk about the things that mainstream media didn't want to talk about. Get over yourself, you goof. And then this is really the chef's kiss of jackassery. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink. I would assume Tucker would take me for one of those liars who want to silence him. Although the things I say, next video, backed by stats, I do want to silence Tucker. I want him to shut his mouth and go away. Because his message is dangerous. I don't want the government to silence him. I want better ideas to silence him. I want his genocidal attitude about anybody else other than white people to die a horrible death. But it is this nonsense that people believe. That's what makes it so dangerous. They believe him when he says, I had the important topics talked about on my show. Everybody forgets about the ball tanning. Everybody forgets about the M&M obsession. They forget that he called Tammy Duckworth someone who hates her country, a woman who's a multiple amputee who lost her limbs in combat fighting for the American military. But the smooth-skinned, never a callous, nary a day of hard work Tucker Carlson, who's never served his country in uniform, he has the temerity to call someone who actually sacrificed, gave of their blood for this country, unpatriotic. They hate their country. And there are millions of people out there who will lap this up like dirty water in a dog bowl. I'd love to know what you think. What are we looking forward here for Tucker Carlson? And we're not looking forward to it, but looking forward into the future. What do we see happening here? What's his end game? 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me absolutely every day, all the time. Plug it into your phone daily at Dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I have all the hot takes there. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you appreciate what I do more than you appreciate someone else, I said this yesterday, I say it a lot, and I'll say it again. If someone out there on this platform or others in independent media does more for you than I do, support that person. If they bring more value to your day, support that person. If I am that person, though, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting my work, helping produce my work. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. I'm sure we'll be talking about this more in the future. Be genuine. Take care of one another.